Greetings and welcome back to number 11, your haven for all things dark and otherworldly. Today we have something truly special to share with you. A letter sent by a young lady that promises to be both mind-altering and outright frightening. So, gather around as we embark on this shared journey into the unknown. Get ready to feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end as we delve into the spine-tingling narrative of this brave young lady. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear might just keep you up at night. Let's dive in. Dear number 11, I hope this letter finds you well. My name is Elizabeth and I'm seeking your advice regarding a series of inexplicable and terrifying events that occurred in my flat. I live alone in a one-bedroom flat in a quiet neighborhood in Birmingham. What I've experienced has shaken me so much and I'm desperately in need of answers. When I got back home from work yesterday, I felt unusually unwell. I'm normally never sick at all, but on this night a wave of nausea swept over me, and within minutes I was sweating buckets, vomiting in the bathroom. Initially I thought it was food poisoning or perhaps a flu. Anyway, I cleaned myself up and decided to rest in the living room, hoping the discomfort would pass. As I sat down on the sofa, I noticed a strange chill in the air. The room felt colder than usual, and I got that kind of unsettling sensation of being watched. I'm sure you're familiar with that. I tried to ignore it, putting it down to my illness, but soon things took a disturbing turn. As I made my way to the kitchen to make a cup of tea, a drawer, just 3 feet away, suddenly flew open. I almost shat myself. Then its contents went clattering onto the floor. Utensils, knives, forks and spoons scattered across the tiles with a bloody loud crash. My heart was pounding and I was just stood there in total disbelief. I turned and ran out the kitchen. I sat there for a while, I don't know exactly how long, just going over and over it all in my head. And eventually I got the courage to go back and take a look at the state of the room. There was cutlery everywhere, so I did what I thought to be the best thing and started to tidy them away. By now I was still feeling unwell, but just as I was attempting to clean up the mess, the glasses on the kitchen counter, and I know this will be hard to believe, the glasses began to shatter one after the other. The first one shocked me the most as I thought the window had been smashed through. Then, one after another, they just exploded. The sound was deafening, not like anything I would imagine a smashing glass door, and shards of glass flew all over the room. I ducked for cover, arms up over my head, but I did get cut a few times on my hands. Honestly, the violence of the event left me trembling, and that's not the end of it. I stumbled out of the kitchen. I couldn't really see where I was going, but I was on autopilot at this point. As fast as I could, back into the living room, slamming the door behind me. When I looked around, I saw that the large mirror had been smashed. From edge to edge, it was shattered. When I approached it, trying to see if I'd been cut anywhere other than my hands and arms, I saw my reflection was all twisted. It was horrible. The face staring back at me was not me. It was twisted with hollow eyes and an evil grin. I stumbled backwards and fell over, clearly shocked and disoriented. At this point, shadows began to move at the edges of my vision. Dark, shifting figures were swooping along the walls and ceiling. I seriously felt like I was going to die, as if something evil was lurking just out of sight, but it was going to get me. I scrambled up and ran to my bedroom, but the shadows followed me, like I couldn't escape. As soon as I got to my room, I slammed the door shut, but then objects in the bedroom began to float in mid-air, hurling themselves across the room. Books, picture frames, and even the lamp flew through the air with serious force. I just cowered in a corner. My mind was broken. I remember the temperature in the flat plummeted even further then because my breath was visible in the air. The shadows all around the room grew sort of darker, taking on vaguely human shapes. They loomed over me, shifting and twisting in ways that were far from the normal movement of a man. I could hear faint whispers. They sounded angry, but I'm not sure if they were inside my head or actually in the room. My heart was pounding in my chest. I was clammy with sweat and I just sat there. Then the entire flat shook as if an earthquake had struck. All the furniture rattled and shifted, and the walls seemed to pulsate. I was thrown across the floor, clutching my head, trying to block out the deafening noise and overwhelming feeling that I was going to die. I was on the brink of madness. The relentless assault on my senses had left me exhausted and absolutely terrified. I could do nothing but lie there, waiting for the nightmare to end. The shadows loomed over me. That feeling of complete helplessness really took over. The entire flat seemed to be alive with an evil energy, every corner filled with malevolence. The whispers became more coherent, forming words that chilled me to the bone. They hissed and screamed, "Leave this place." Their voices were filled with a hatred. I could feel it. My heart pounded so hard at this point I thought it might burst, and then finally everything abruptly stopped. The shadows just vanished, the room got warmer instantly, and a most welcome silence settled over the flat. I just lay there, gasping for breath, unable to understand what had just happened to me. My mind was a jumble of terror and confusion, and still is. I am writing to you now at number 11 because I do not know where else to turn. I fear for my sanity, and I am desperate for help. I can't explain the events that took place that night, but I know that they were real. I am not a superstitious person, but what I have experienced was beyond anything I can rationalize. But please, if there is any advice or assistance you can offer, do so. I am terrified to stay in my own home, and I do not know how much longer I can keep this up. I need to know if I am losing my mind, or if there is truly something malevolent in my flat. And thus concludes Elizabeth's chilling account of what happened in her flat. As someone who spent years studying the paranormal and supernatural, I can tell you this. Her experience is not something to be taken lightly. The intense nausea, the feeling of being watched, and the physical disturbances are classic signs of a malevolent presence. The twisted reflection and the shadowy figures only add to the likelihood of a powerful, dark entity making itself known. Elizabeth's description and the threatening whispers suggest a poltergeist, or even something more sinister, like a demonic haunting. These entities thrive on fear and chaos, and they often manifest in ways that are designed to break down the victim's will and sanity. So I ask, what do you think? Have any of you experienced something similar? Do you have theories on what could be haunting Elizabeth's flat? Is it a restless spirit, a poltergeist, or something even darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you have any advice for Elizabeth or suggestions on what she should do next, be sure to share that too. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Until next we meet, keep your eyes open, and remember, when the lights dim and the shadows lengthen, don't look away. You never know what might be staring back at you. Good night and farewell.